Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 152. Now this week I've managed to get some hobbying done, but I've also spent quite a lot of time on the software side of my hobby, so helping out for the list and character creator for Ryan for the Anthems of War stuff, and also I've spent a fair bit of time on tourn.ee as well. So there's been less kind of hands creativity, but there has been a lot of creativity this week. Having said that, I haven't got to the painting desk at all this week, which is terrible. It's probably the first week in the last 2 years, other than when I've been travelling and nowhere near any paints, when I've not painted anything, and I need to get back to it, so I'm going to try and get back to it today. Having said that, it is a hobby. Don't beat yourself up too much. It's an inspiration rather than a chore. But yeah, I'm just sad at myself because I have let myself down a bit this week on that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy seeing me hobbying, and Rosie is involved again this week finally. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll speak to you again at the end. Well, that dry brushing went well. You can see that I've done the sides of this, and I also did underneath the windmill. Now the windmill is not stuck in yet. I've just been checking it out for a bit. That's not far off the right time, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make use of some of my homemade flock that you can see in these pots here, and I'm going to start to flock. So I will do the small one I've got here first, and then because yeah, it's all the same, everything's going to be the same pretty much how this is done. So what you do is you take your scenic glue, which is watered down PVA with a little bit of dish soap or washing up liquid. I always put that in. It works very, very well to keep mould, to keep it from getting stinky and mouldy. So yeah, top tip that, just stick some washing up liquid in. So you dash that out all over the top of it like that, and then what I do, and I really need to make some more of this, so let me just get this open. That is just sawdust with some paint and glue mixed with it, and literally just scatter it on. So I always scatter on a dark first, and then go 2 more, lighter and then lighter, and then finally I cover up with the dark, which is why I'm running out so much. Now the thing with this is I actually mixed this. So I got green and black and brown and mixed it all up together, and I'm not sure, they didn't make a note of the proportions. So yeah, so let me just open these other pots. So yeah, so you kind of just build it up. Nature is not all one colour, it is not monochrome, unless it's night, and even then it's not. So you just sprinkle that over, and then we'll get this one, which is, actually the paint is called grass, Trevor, which is Bulgarian for grass. So we end up with quite a nice bit of variety, as you can see. And then for the last bit, like I say, I come back to the dark, and I just use that to tie it together. And what I'll do is I'll leave that to dry, and then in the morning I'll come and I'll put some more of the same glue over the top to seal it off. So that's what I'm going to do for all of these. You can see it's quite nice, it looks great, and it looks even better when it's finished. So I have my hippo and my rhino to do, which I'll do exactly the same technique. They're here, and I also am going to do the base of this. So yeah, we're rapidly approaching finished. And this has taken substantially longer than I expected, because trying to get the paint to stick to this back was really difficult. Took a lot of coats, but I'm happy with it now. And what I've just done is I've just printed out the pictures, cut them out using a sharp blade and a straight edge safety ruler, because I don't like using scissors for that sort of thing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue them in place. So I'm going to put one above the other. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Put one there, and then I'll print out another sheet which will explain what the holiday was, to go down here. And then when they're glued on, then I will start to actually assemble and place on the pieces, the memory pieces. So yeah, this will now rush to completion, hopefully. So I'm going to use PVA, I think, to glue these down. the spray craft mount I've got. It's just really messy and I don't like using it. So I'll get those glued down and then I'll turn the camera back on when I'm starting to put the shells and the stones and the other awesome things that we collected around the edge. So yeah, really pleased to be back to this. So it didn't stop being worked on. I just sprayed this every day for like 3 or 4 days until I got a covering that I was happy with. Alright, so this is dried on and I've just spent a little bit of time positioning things and I think I'm pretty happy with it. So just out here out of shot I've got some PVA on a plate and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sticking things down. So some of them will be PVA, some of them I will use my grabby glue stuff, my extra strong glue, but I think most of this stuff will be light enough that I should be able to get away just with a bit of PVA. So that's good. The cool thing here is this particular shell right here, which I've got surrounded by crabs. I actually watched it being eaten by a crab. I was floating above it and I was watching, and the crab ate it and then left the shell and I dived down and picked it up, which was pretty cool. So that's what that little story is. And I got a little bit emotional actually when I was printing out the pictures. It's amazing how fast time goes. And just thinking about these 2 times here that I've got pictures of, it's just amazing to think that that's completely gone behind us, moving on, etc. Time is a funny thing, isn't it? When you're there, you feel like you've got all the time in the world, but then you really haven't, have you? So anyway, I'll get these all positioned. I won't film it all because it's going to be a little bit samey, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, and then we'll go and hang it, because that's how quick this whole process goes. It's very, very fast. So I've decided that I want actually to have a little bit more colour than just the rough sand. So what I've got here is some of this reddish brown, which I'm just going to lightly put on, not all over, but just to give a little bit more colour here. I've pretty much finished gluing down the green weeds, which is good, because yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Maybe actually just come in here and do a little bit more around the edge there so it doesn't look quite so unnatural. Okay, because what I want to do actually is I've got these white tufts from Serious Play, and I'm going to put those on the base around here. So I'll just wait for that to dry, it won't take very long, and then I'll bring you back and we'll put some white tufts on, and I think that then will complete this, which is good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is work away with what I call my Easter foliage, which is really cool. I'm going to build up a lot of overgrowth around the bases. I've also got these super colourful things from Serious Play. I really do like Serious Play, which I'm going to use to decorate the bases of each of these. I also have this. This is a Martinitza, and actually it was put onto a tree, and that tree now has obviously lost the branch, and so I'm actually going to glue that around here. It's going to be just a little bit of a private thing, so I'll glue that around there, and it's supposed to bring luck, so I'm going to put that there. The other thing that I'm going to do, and I might actually do that before anything else actually, I've started recording and forgotten actually what I was going to do, but it won't take me very long, so I'll just quickly do it now, is I want to put some very subtle streaks of dark blue, just so that when I'm varnishing it, they're kind of visible but not massively visible. So I was going to basically edge highlight it with this dark blue. As you see, it's not going to take very long. Get that done, and then when I varnish it, it will just bring that little bit more interest to the piece than just a black obelisk. There we are. So I'll get that done, and then what I'll do is I'll set the camera up and put some music on when I'm doing the flocking, or not the flocking, doing the tufts and everything else that I'm about to do now. So yeah, this won't take long. I'll be back in a second, and you can enjoy the music. Right, well that went pretty well. What I'm going to do now is a couple of last bits of finishing off on other pieces. So first of all, this is going to get glued in, so I'll just press that in, and that will now dry in place very nicely. I did consider briefly putting making it so that the actual wheel didn't fall off, but I think I'm going to leave it so that I can take it off and store it a bit easier, so it can just lift off the top. So that's going to be fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal these pieces that I've just stuck in. So I am going to need to make some more glue, scenic glue for this. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and soak this down, particularly this one here, because it will dry on much nicer if I get it nice and soaking and full of PVA now, rather than waiting until it's dried initially, because then it might fall off anyway. So I will need to put that onto a grate, otherwise it will all stick to my table and everything, my bench. It's messy, this process, but it is worth doing it now rather than waiting. So just pick up any stray bits I've got, stick them on there. But that's going to look really nice. I really wanted this one to be more overgrown, and that's what I've managed to achieve. So I'm just going to do this, and then when this is all dry, it'll be done. These ones. But this project isn't yet over, because I have my Reaper Bones miniature here that I'm going to paint up, and he's going to be the crazy mage. So I'll do that. So actually, there was actually one other thing I'm going to do quickly. So I'll just get these put onto a tray, and I'll bring it back for this final thing I'm going to do on this project tonight. Right, so you'll have seen that I was pushing this into place just roughly. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to glue it in place, because then I might do some more undergrowth going over the top of it. So I'm just going to run a bead of PVA in the little trench and then press it in. Hopefully that'll be enough. Fortunately, if it does fall off, it's not the hardest thing in the world to repair. But yeah, so just run a bead of PVA down like so. There we are. And actually, while that's out of the way, I will also put a load of glue on top of these tufts and bushes. There we are. And now what I'll do is very carefully feed this in, and then I'll go and leave it, and I won't touch it until tomorrow. And hopefully when I touch it tomorrow, I'll find that this is nicely glued in place and isn't going to move. If this doesn't work, then I can resort to the classic loads and loads of super glue idea. But yeah, it should work. Right, there we are. I'm going to leave that now. Final task will be varnishing the obelisk, and as I said, maybe putting some more greenery going over the crown. But that'll have to be done when it's totally and utterly dry. And standing like this, I'm too tempted to fiddle, so I'm just going to step away. What I'm going to do now is paint my varnish on the obelisk, and then might do 2 coats, not sure. This is Liquitex matte varnish, which actually dries quite shiny when you put it on like this. And also it seals it, so if I want to make it really shiny after I've done this, I can put some yacht varnish on it, but I'm not going to put the yacht varnish on without first sealing with this, because it's going to keep the yacht varnish from eating away at any holes in the paint, which will go straight down to just polystyrene. So yeah, just going to paint this on. I won't film it all because it's literally what you see here. Hopefully this will even bring out some of the blue that I put on a little bit more nicely, and then that might actually make it a little bit more obvious, because it's very subtle. I wanted it to be subtle, but maybe not quite as subtle as I've got it. Anyway, enough nattering. Get this painted on, and if I'm going to do another coat or another coat of a different material, I'll let you know and bring you along. But yeah, we're rapidly approaching finish of this part of the build. All I've got to do now is paint up my my wizard. Well, I think I am going to add my yacht varnish to this. I didn't seal it properly before, so it's had a massive skin on it, and I had to really dig into it then to actually get it to be liquid. So that was a bit of fun. But yeah, so I'm just going to quickly paint this over, same as I did for the ceiling that I did with matte varnish. And I'm just going to paint over the whole of this with this varnish, and then it'll be a case of sticking the duck on. This is such a fun little project. Sticking the duck on, and then this bit will be done, and then all I'll have to do is paint the wizard. I have primed him, not started painting him yet, but it won't take long when I get to him. I've actually been a bit kind of off my painting for the last few days, so hopefully I'll get back to it very soon. So yeah, so I just finished painting this on. You will notice I also did put the Martinitzer on. I need to actually add a little bit of glue to that just to secure a little bit more in place. It's only glued at the back here, so I'll probably just paint some of my scenic glue on there just to seal that. But yeah, nearly finished on the actual creation of a of the terrain. Like I say, just gonna have to do the wizard next. So I'll bring you back when I come to glue the duck on, and then hopefully by that point the wizard will be done as well. Well, I'll put this away because I hate hiding it from Rosie, but life is conspiring to get in the way as always, so I'm back doing a little bit more assembly. I've stuck the first claws there on the wings, and I've still got quite a lot of filling to do on this, but what I'm going to do now is look to stick these kind of spiny sections on. Working out which one goes where is a bit difficult, but I'm sure I'll be able to do it. The rumours are true though, this really isn't the easiest thing in the world to put together, and I think what I've done there is I've actually put a little bit too much green stuff in the wrong place, not green stuff, a little bit too much milliput, which is now meaning that I can't actually fit that one in the right way. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to carry on with this a little bit now. Got a little bit of time before Rosie gets home and then have to hide it again. And get these spines all in place. And once I've got the spines in place, then the next thing will be to put the claws in, glue the wings on, do some more filling, and I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, this is fiddly, not easy. The actual casting isn't great either, which is a shame for the amount of money it costs, but I had heard that, so I'm not surprised. So yeah, just take it slowly, take it easy, take it gentle, and I think it'll be alright eventually. But I'd like to try and get this assembled in the next couple of days, finished, so I can start painting it, because the plan I had originally to do this entirely while Angela and Rosie are away is not going to happen, unfortunately, for various reasons, so I need to get a little bit ahead of it, otherwise it will be Christmas before I know it, and I won't have it done in time. I'm going to do a little bit on this project with Rosie before she's here, because this involves sharp knives and other things, which she's very, very competent, but she's a little bit young yet to be doing this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick down these, which is the base of the wall, to this XPS. So I'm just going to do this by eye and cut this out around it. This will also give an opportunity for Rosie to do the bit that she really loves, which is the sprinkles, because we'll do a really cool kind of like scenery around this, put some rocks and what have you, so I'll give her an opportunity to do that. So first of all, we're going to cut this out like this. There we are. And the next thing that you have to do when you're working, sorry, a bit noisy, when you're working with stuff that's as shiny as this, you actually need to score it. I have a wire brush for this, and it's a nasty noise, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this all over. I'll do that without filming, show you what it looks like, and then we'll stick these down. And hopefully that'll dry quickly, and then later on I can actually get to sticking the walls on and doing stuff with Rosie together, which is obviously the purpose of this. But yeah, sometimes a couple of things I have to do on my own. She's not really going to be, don't want to be playing with that, put it that way. Right, so that's done, as you can see, nicely scored, done a crisscross pattern, and that will now mean that this actually grabs and doesn't just kind of peel straight off. So I'm going to use PVA to glue this down. What I'll do is I'll put some PVA on the bottom. I need to make sure to lift these tabs up out the way because I need them for actually fitting the walls. And then we'll spread that PVA out thinly. I put way too much there, but that's fine. So we'll spread that out, and then I'm going to weight them down and leave them to dry for a good, probably till tomorrow, to be honest. Just leave them to dry for a fair while. But I do just want to make sure those tabs don't get accidentally glued. Yeah. So that's that. Make sure to get it in roughly the right position. Put it down. You can see that it is already warping. But I've got these heavy weights here that I could set on, which will stop them from lifting. And ideally, I won't be putting them on top of the tabs because I really do want those tabs lifted. So I've squashed that tab down, which was thoughtless. So just pull that back up and then basically do it like that. Now, once I've done everything, I'll be able to put these weights in a slightly better location. But I'll get that done now, get the rest of them glued, get it all lined up and weighted down, and then that can, as I say, stay for a couple of hours, or maybe until tomorrow, depending on how the evening goes, and then we'll start to actually do the building, which is what Rosie's looking forward to, and certainly what I'm looking forward to too. Right, so on to the last few little bits of things to do on this, and the last thing I want to do is put these white tufts just around the base. So yeah, as I always say, when I'm doing this I make use of tweezers because I find it very easy for these to stick to my fingers if I don't use tweezers, because the sticky base is quite sticky. So yeah, and I also dip them in PVA because, having said that the sticky bit is sticky, it often isn't. It doesn't stay sticky long enough to. It gets a bit annoying, so it might fall off after a couple of months. So just going to stick a selection of these on the base, and then maybe one more, I think, and then we're done. Really cool model this. Oh, dropped it. Really cool model. Just brilliant. So there we are, that's what I wanted to do. Some nice white flowers on the base, and it's finished. Thank you, our Guardian. Brilliant, brilliant. So I'll wait for that to dry and I'll get some pictures. Right, that's done. So now it's time to stick the duck on. How cool is that? So I'm just going to use PVA, I think, for this. Means that if it gets knocked off, it's less likely to damage the actual pillar, which obviously I don't want it to damage. So just slap a bit of PVA on and then let that dry. And that piece is completed, which is really awesome, along with the ones I did before. So we've got the overgrown rhinoceros. Might put some more tufts on that, but for now I'm happy with it. We have the not overgrown hippopotamus, and we have the windmill, which I'm really pleased actually that I didn't bother to secure that in place. It rotates and spins and it's quite cool. So the only thing left to do is your man here, who I've primed, like I said, but I've still not painted, which I'm going to go and paint. I'm going to have to start painting that soon. It won't take me very long to paint him at all, to be honest. I could probably do him in one night, one sitting, so I might do that now. But yeah, project nearly finished. Very cool.
Got my brush ready.
You've got your brush ready, yes. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue the walls to the base. Now, the base has already warped, so I probably want to end up cutting some wood and gluing this down to some plywood. However, right now what we're going to do is hopefully careful, you push that shut, it's okay, don't worry. Hopefully, lift that again using my spoon. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little blob of glue, and I need you to spread that around. Okay, I've put too much on that one, so I'll move it, and I'll put too much on that one. So spread it so it's all nice and spread. And oh, careful, that's it. Now do this one. Good girl. Just spread each one nicely. Give it a nice, that's it. And then these ones. Very good, and this one. And finally this one. Right, that's awesome. So that's the gluing done. So I'll pop that to one side. We'll wash that after we've finished. And what we're going to do now, and I'm going to need your help on this as well. So I've got some tweezers. I've been thinking about this because this is not the easiest thing in the world. Pull that right the way through and then press that down. And what we'll do is we'll put some weights on it like that. Ooh. Put some weights on it. And then, can you see, oh, Daddy's not doing this very well. This is very, very difficult, you know that. I don't know who designed this, but whoever designed this doesn't really understand what a simple assembly is. So, if you can get that, there we are, and that.
There's no glue on yours.
No, and that, and what we're going to do is we're going to put these weights in to hold it down. Don't put glue on the metal. I don't need glue on the metal.
Do you need it on the metal?
No, you don't need it on the metal because it will stick the metal together and we don't want that. Right, so we've got that side done. Don't put it on your face either, good girl. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do this side. And then we can leave it to dry. So it's not very easy, is it, love? Can you see how difficult this is? Don't touch the metal because I've just got that balanced. Rosie, I've just got that balanced. That was quite hard to do. So, because it's not easy. Well, you're going to help me with this last bit? Watch, look. Last bit. Come on, get through. Don't push it because it'll fall over and then I'll get upset because it will fall over again. Rosie, can you hold this bit on the top? At the top there. Just don't let it move. Very good. No, don't let it move. Hold it. Hold it tight. I need to get that through and it's not wanting to go through because it's got all wet. Oh yeah, got it. Like, oh. Like, don't worry about it. Keep hold. Oh, that one's come out. This is a comedy to watch, I'm sure. You know what I need to do? I need to put something behind as well. So when I get this in, are you going to go sit somewhere else? I don't blame you. This is very hard. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Look, Rosie. Rosie, look what I've done. I'm putting that behind it so that doesn't pop out. And I'm going to get another one over here.
I need my teddies. I want my teddies. I want my teddy.
Well, go and get a teddy then, love. Go on. Shh, don't shout. Mummy's asleep. We'll never work with kids or children. Okay, you go get your teddy, love, and I'll get this done. Right, this is really difficult. Let me move the camera around so you can see what's going on while Rosie's not here. I think she'll be back. So, trying to get them to go in is very, very tough. Whoever designed this is not very smart. So actually, let's put that there. Move that down, put that weight there, And that should hold those in. Put weights on there. I might be nearly there. I might have nearly done it. And one more. And then we could leave it to dry. Nearly, nearly, nearly. Do not go back. Dry in. And there we are. You got your teddies, Rosie? Good girl. Well, hop back up. Well, that was tough. Rosie wasn't really involved. It's a bit difficult for her to get involved with what we were doing, and so she lost interest and disappeared. You can't blame her, really. So I think I might do the rest of the assembly of this, just putting the towers together and what have you, without her. I don't think it's very fair to expect her to put up with me finding things difficult and what have you. So yeah, so I think that is, and then she'll look forward to hobbying rather than think it's rubbish. So I might just do the rest of the assembly, like I say, without Rosie, and yeah, just consider that she is only 3 and a bit, and it is a bit of an ask to ask her to do things like this, especially when it's difficult even for me to do. So anyway, you can see that is glued down. It's still quite warped. I'm definitely going to need to stick this down to a better, more solid base. But the actual walls are glued on. Now I did realise after I did this that there's actually supposed to be a bit that goes here, but hopefully I've got enough space. But if I haven't, then I'll deal with that when I put it onto the slightly more solid base. So I'm going to keep assembling it, I'll keep filming, and then I'll bring Rosie back when I've got it all assembled, and what we're going to be doing is coming along, painting these details, and putting down the terrain, the scenery, putting down the modelling compound, all the things that she really loves to do. I'll get her involved at that stage. So anyway, yeah, it was a bit tough. I got a bit frustrated, and so did she, and it's not fair on her. So yeah, I will live and learn. I will live and learn. So I think that I've finished pouring, or very, very nearly. If we zoom right in on that corner, you can see that I really do not have very much space below the gap, below the wood where the resin has got to. Unfortunately, on this side, this is particularly hard to film because of the way the sun is. On this side, you can see that I actually have like 5 mil or so. And I was hoping to get up to that height, but I think on that end I'm going to struggle. So whether I either try to just add a little bit of an extra dam up that end, which is probably what I might do, or whether I just leave it like it is, I'm going to sleep on it for a little while. But we are getting close to having resin on where the stream comes in, as you can see. It would be nice just to get it at that 5 mil more would be nice. So I think I probably will try to dam that corner a bit more and put more resin in, because 5 mil more is what I want really. And then all I need to do is put a little bit of resin in the deep parts, maybe put a fish or 2 in there, and then put a little bit of resin over here. Just mix a tiny amount and just build it up over many applications of very, very thin, so it doesn't really pour anywhere, but it does build up. Now, one thing that I'm quite disappointed about, but I'm gonna is the resin that I used to glue down these, the clear silicone. Unlike where I used it here, where it's absolutely fine, has gone really creamy. I don't know why that is. So that's a huge disappointment to me after all the effort I've put into this. But I'll come up with something. I'll say it's like, I don't know, fish spawn or something. There we are. That's an excuse. But other than that, really pleased, obviously, with how it's looking, and can't wait to get on to the next step. So yeah, I think just a tiny more dam over in that corner, and then another 5 mil of pours. Hopefully I've got enough resin for that, and then I'll bring you back and we'll start to look at the river, and then we can look at the rest of it, which includes some trees. So there it is. Sorry for some of the audio problems in the earlier clips. I do recall now that I noticed I'd knocked my microphone, turned the input volume down very slightly, and that seems to have had quite a bad effect. So yeah, I've tried to do what I can in post, but I'm not great at that, so apologies. As I say, hopefully it's been okay to watch. I had a lot of fun this week, as I've said. That session with Rosie has made me realise I'm maybe rushing a little bit too much, so just need to back off a bit and give her a bit of space, as I've said. And yeah, that's part of being a dad, is learning yourself, and hopefully your kid can learn as well. There is going to be another video out this Tuesday. I haven't been doing very many Tuesday videos for various reasons, but I've managed to get the next Battle Games in Middle-earth video done. That will be coming out this coming Tuesday. Do check it out. It is an epic. It is a semi kind of collaboration with Meredith from Scattered Terrain, so it's really worth the view. Had a lot of fun making it, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, let me know. Do leave me a comment. I love reading them all. I do reply to every single one of them, as I always say. And also, as I'm saying at the moment, to wrap up, if any of you are impacted indirectly or directly by the horrible war in Ukraine, particularly going to come into a scary period for it now, pretty scary, to be honest, being so close. My heart goes out to you and anyone you know who might be being impacted by that. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.